2D Delves. Welcome to the second interlude. Holy cow, did we have a major victory in our last episode. You'll recall we had to protect the Caravanneers. They got attacked by wolves at night. And I got to be honest with you. I thought I'll play a couple of games, show people how it works. Problem is, we fought wolves twice. We got to see what some of the other critters in this bestiary can do to our boys. Gonna go ahead and level up, and in this interlude, so spoilers for later on in the video, because I want to see, we're gonna go through the whole thing, and we're gonna set up another fight. We're gonna do another fight, but I want to see what some of these other bad guys can do. Maybe even just doing another tier 1 list with the dangerous vermin, with the centipedes, rats, and spiders can do. We are still tier 1, I think, after all. Well, anyway, let's get ahead of the game a little bit here. Let's go back to the start of the section on campaign and advancement. And right down here it says, if you play, so we're going to take our rewards first. Playing a battle, we get a quest point. Kapow. We won. Well, it doesn't really say what winning means. I think the fact that we... it was a clean sweep, man. We pitched a perfect game, 7 for 7 on rescuing the loot and the 4 caravan drivers. I think we're going to call that a win. So that's 2. Did we take out one of our survivors, but he survived? No. Okay, so that's fine. That's experience points. And that's an experience. Taking it on the chin, getting back up and fighting again. That ain't nothing. All right, so 2. And then we got 7 objective tokens. That's the Caravanneers, the donkey, and this heavily laden old guy here. He's our porter. Okay, so we saved him too. So that's 9. And then maybe a new bitter enemy. So let's just write that down for now. We got a total of 9 quest points. We're gonna have to decide whether to turn those into treasury quest points or legendary quest points. Come on. They're either gold pieces or victory points. That's what you have to choose. And now is the time to do that. It says here, let's see, whenever you earn from whatever, decide whether to put it into your gold pieces or victory points. You got to do it now. You can't decide later. Think of them as collective collective achievements. Yeah. Once you put them in the pool, you can't take them back out, although you can pull a couple of victory points out for gold piece. Here's what I'm going to do. Remember that for upkeep, you have to spend out. Let's take a look. I guess what I'm going to do first is show you my campaign sheet. All right, so we're just a generic campaign. We've already got 3 in our treasury. Now remember that you have to spend 1 to get through your next fight. So if I have 9 already, then I can go ahead and I got 2 legendary. Pretty good, man. So what if I put 3 in here? We're going to go to 5 legendaries, 5 victory points. And that leaves me with 6. I've got 9 to dump into my treasury. And I like that because it means that I can fight out 2 scenarios and I still have 1 left over. I've already got my upkeep costs paid for. So that's kind of how the math works on that. We're still, I think, we're supposed to be seeking the ghastly children of the Ivory Goddess. But there's really, I couldn't think of a way to connect that to rescuing the Caravanneers. Like there's nothing that says ghostly children. So we're out in the desert. We come upon this caravanserai, or maybe we're camped because we didn't know it was over the next set of dunes. We hear the wolves howling. We hear cries for help. So we run, we save the wolves, and we meet these guys, and they go, oh, yeah, I know where that is. There's the thing, and we're going to find out what the thing is, and they point us in the direction of actually achieving the campaign victory. So in this way, you can, and maybe we found a map in the castle ruins from the first scenario. Retcon, so we followed the map out into the desert, we got lost, and we found the Caravanneers, and they put us back on track. Maybe that's the way it works, right? Or maybe we were on the way, and we meet these guys, and they go, oh yeah, this map is a little outdated. You're going to have to, check your ways, check your Google Maps, because it turns out where you're headed is somewhere else. Anyway, if we're going to play a short campaign, you really only need 10 of those victory points. We are halfway there after 2 games. We rolled lights out on that last scenario. I'm not going to take a whole lot of credit for winning that one. We just were rolling bonkers, man. It's kind of weird, kind of unusual for us, isn't it? So we have done our, this is a little odd, right? We start with the campaign economy because that's important. And then we have to flip back here to the post-game sequence. And then we go back to the pre-game sequence to find out what we're setting up for the next one, right? And that means, here we go, Fate of the Fallen. Well, we didn't have any Fallen. What was the total damage? We only took a couple of hits, actually. It says here that Barker, our barbarian, he took 3 points of damage altogether. Is that right? Yeah, and that's the only damage we took. Partially because those wolves, man, they were just kind of all over the place. They just weren't hitting nothing, and they failed their morale check and ran off. That means we don't have to worry about the Fate of the Fallen. But we do have, and we don't have to buy any new blood. Now is the time to check the battle. Earned you a bitter enemy. Roll a d6. And our result of a 3, they're just another foe. All right, that would earn us another quest point. We could bump ourselves up to 6 victory points. The outcome of your battle can affect this roll. Oh, if you slew your enemy to the last model, we did not. They ran off. If your enemy's leader survived, oh, he did. Oh, he did, didn't he? That was the reason. I forgot to mention that during the last video. I said, hey, I know we've basically got this licked because the wolves are running off, but we need to play it out because if we had managed to kill that lead wolf, then we wouldn't have a bitter enemy. So now, we do have, look at that. So wolves are our bitter enemy, and as I said, earning a bitter enemy gives you another point. I am up to 6 legendary points because I am an elite level gamer. I am just gaming like a boss. Look at that. Not bad. If I can earn 4 victory points, I can bank them as if I earn 4 quest points, I can bank them as victory points. Kapow. I'm at 10. I'm done. How about that? Bitter enemies can show up again during the pre-battle sequence. You see that in the weirdness table. You see it in the travel table. But we don't have to worry about that. Experience is the best teacher. Every 2 battles, each PC survives, earns them an advance. 4 such advancements equals a new tier. Now I'm going to push my luck, and I'm going to go with tier 2. Like I said, I want to see some of the stronger guys. But before we get to that, because we have played our second battle, we get a character advance. So first, I'm going to roll for Gimpy, because he's at the top of the chart. And with a result of a 4, we get +4 to health. Gimpy now has 18 hit points. Yeah, I'm thinking he's really the hero. You know, even though he doesn't have a bonus to his strength, he is good with his heavy tanky armor. Look at that. He is going to be really hard to take out. He does -2 damage every time you whack him. That's pretty impressive. Now for Barker, he's going to roll and get a 7, so he gets a new trait. And we'll roll for our wizard, gets a 9, and he gets an extra fate point. So we're at 2 fate, and now a new trait. So for Barker, he's already got the mighty attack. There's random titles here we could roll when you level up, but I'm not going to worry about that. Instead, let's go back to the trait list and pick something suitable for a barbarian. You can get an extra attack, spend a fate point to attack twice on a turn. Fate points are pretty rare, though. We've got Brute. You have great strength. No movement penalties for wearing armor. Well, our barbarian's not wearing armor. That's not really going to work so well. Now, we have counterattack. Remember, when a foe attacks us, we roll for our defense roll. And that means, oh, hello. Hello, ruler. Where'd you come from? So we roll, and if you get a 6 on your save, look, the foe missed us because we rolled a 10. His dexterity is +1, so we actually got an 11. Oh, and because we got a 6, we can make a counterattack. Oh, okay, except that's one of those things that I'm terrible at. I'm terrible at remembering those situational modifiers. I'm inclined to go with healthy, give him an extra +1 to his health total, because he's only got 11 hit points right now. But I think instead, I'm going to take Pathfinder for this guy. You move well, even over broken ground. Add +1 to your base move. And with the exception of deep water and vertical surfaces, ignore the effects of difficult terrain. I like that. It makes him a lot more flexible. So it's going to bump his movement up to 6. And we'll write down Pathfinder. He is also lucky, and that means whenever I spend a fate point, there's a 33% chance, 5 or 6, that the fate point comes back. All right, we got to remember that. That's worth. Remember, I'm gonna heal him up there. We'll get rid of his damage. So now he and the spellcaster also, they both ignore most terrain. That means we've got kind of a barbarian and kind of a Fafford and a Gray Mouser thing going here with Barker and Keebler. And so that ain't nothing, man. That ain't nothing. And if we play 2 more fights, we get some more of those. So that's it. Skirmisher it allows him to leave combat. That I could see the value in that, but he's not the kind of guy to run from combat. There's also an ability here where Slayer here, if your attack reduces a foe to 0 health, make a strength check. And if successful, you can make another attack versus a foe within your melee range. Oh, well, that's pretty good. So if you kill a guy, you get a free attack against somebody else. And that's probably going to happen occasionally, but Pathfinder is going to happen all the time, particularly now that I know I don't have to worry about rough going. My boys are going to be zipping around the table, and I am going to be very grateful for the fact that these tables are only 24 by 24 inches. I can get across the table in just a scant, well, now he moved 6. If I'm starting kind of on the table, like 3 turns, I'm good, man. I just have to worry about the fact that we're going to be outrunning Stunty. He is not very dangerous over short distances, unlike his cinematic cousins. So that's our traits, and really that's about it for experience. And now we have to cycle back around to the front, where we say, okay, we are now into the pre-battle sequence, where we have to have a combination of travel, resource generation, and non-combat interactions. Ooh, a little downtime, you gotta like it. So I got a hex map here, and we're kind of ignoring that and just moving around. You do have to pick a starting hex, right? Whenever you decide, let's see, for old school gaming hexes, yeah, where is it? You pick a starting hex, and wherever you decide, start from there. Oh, here it is. Make a 7-up intelligence or perception check. Our elf has a perception of +2. So we get a 10, and that means we can move 4 hexes. So we get 4 hexes closer to our campaign goal. And, I mean, again, our campaign goal is victory points. So I don't really understand the connective tissue between the hexes. I think the idea here is, it's not explicitly stated. I think the idea is you can make a choice. You can say, look, go for 10 victory points, or alternatively, pick a hex for your start, pick a hex for the goal, and then go do a boss fight, get back to your home hex, see how many victory points you have. And rather than using this chart for, set your goal based on the length of the campaign, instead, what you can do is you can use these for, what's your degree of victory? Is it a slight victory with 10 victory points, or did you get 20 for a dominating victory, and total victory if you can get across and earn a total of 40 victory points. Now, we're doing this really kind of loosey-goosey. I'll let you guys decide how you want to do your solo campaign. For us, we are able to move 4. And maybe one of the things you could do is, I think the better situation here would be to say, you can extend your travels to new lands, right? But no matter the result, you have a chance to lose one of your bitter enemies. Roll a d6. On a 1 or a 2, they follow you to your new locale. So on a 3-up, you lose them, scratch them off your list. All right, so the wolves were our bitter enemies, but because we've moved somewhere, perhaps we've moved out of the desert, maybe they finally got tired of getting beat up by us. Either way, we got to roll our little mini game for the adventuring while we're traveling our 4 hexes. I need to roll 2 different colored dice. And remember, 54 is pretty good. But if we wanted to swap these, if we got a 14, we could turn it into a 41 by spending a fate point. So we got a 54, and that means probably going to have a little power up. Rested and ready. One of your injured band members heals guitar solo. Heals faster than expected. Reduce the number of campaign turns out of action by 1 if no one is injured. Instead, gain 2 servings of Fey bread for use in a future battle. All right. Now, I'm going to give one of those to my wizard. Fey bread will heal 2 hit points, but it takes an action to use, so you can't charge. And then I'm going to have another one for, let's see, Fey bread. I'm going to give the other one to Barker, since with 18 hit points, I don't think Gimpy is going to need it all that much. We got a little Lembas. How about that? I guess while we were on the road, Keebler cooked us up some magic cookies. And then we get to, so that's it for the travel. And we arrive at the actual scenario. Well, kind of. We'll get there. So we are going to pay. We are loaded, guys, with 9 gold pieces. We're going to spend 4. No, we're only going to spend 3. Oh, man, we could. I got 6. I forgot I've only got 3 bros in my party. And since we've had such an easy time, yeah, the tier 2, let's see whether we struggle to fight against the tier 2 foes. We don't have to worry about upkeep, right? Because we paid the 3 gold. And then we move on to trading. In addition to hunting for resources, each of your characters can trade 3 conventional items or weapons for 1 victory point. Ooh, that's not bad. Technically, we could 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then it says you can trade or 1 cursed magic item for 1. You can trade 1 magic item for 2. If we traded in all of our stuff, we could win this campaign with 10 victory points. But that would be kind of dumb because we like playing the game. It would be over. So instead, we are going to hunt for resources. And by we, I mean your characters bargain, scavenge, trade, or they get into some kind of thing. Hunt for resources is a D percentile. And we get a 32. Some of these can be bad. 32 is kind of in the middle. Veterans Fund, a beggar claiming to be a veteran of the last war, asks for help. Make an 8-up charisma check. Our Keebler has a +1 to his charisma. We get a 7. That's not going to do it. On a success, you deserve it. On a failure, you run afoul. Oh, we got conned. We lose 1 of our treasure points. Oh, so now we're down to 5. We don't have 2 scenarios worth of loot in our bank because we gave money to the Fallen Warriors Fund. We bought a bunch of t-shirts, and the guy took the money and ran. He didn't give it to the Fallen Warriors. How sad. With a +2 intelligence, Keebler, I expected better out of you. Your magic user explores the esoteric aspects of their environment. So as we're walking through the hexes, Keebler gets to roll, and he says, with a 24, we get Haunted. A nameless spirit haunts you until the end of the next battle, giving you a bane on all checks for the first 2 rounds, unless we spend a fate point. And then we turn that into a 42, and that becomes key knowledge. You read, you cram for your tests, read text, speak to the trees, and gain more insights. The next time you roll on your advancement table, you can adjust the result up or down by 1d6. I think that's worth a fate point. So Keebler says, I'm going to go ahead and spend my 1. And this is a pretty big swing. Now, this is where I get a little bit tied up, because I need to write this down. That's a different note. Maybe I put this here. Maybe I write it here on my campaign sheet. Keebler gets ±1d6 on next advance roll. And I got to write it down here because, we are like 3 episodes away. We're 2 full fights away from getting to that next advance roll. But that's huge. We don't have Bane because of the haunted forest that we walk through. Instead, we get a bonus to our next advancement roll. Now we do our battle setup, and we have 6 possible scenarios. I roll a 6, and that means we're going to do another rescue. Okay, but this one's going to be different. I'm actually kind of glad that I rolled the exact same scenario, because now we're going to have an opportunity to see how all of the little details, the weirdness, will roll on the weird events table, how darkness, how the terrain, how all of that means that no 2 scenarios results on the same results on this table. No 2 will play the same on the table. I am not going to go through all of the rules. We already know. I do need to say how many. We got how many? This time there's only 2. Okay, so that's not great. I liked having more bodies on the board. So we have to rescue 2 commoners. And again, they're going to have +1 to 1 stat. Maybe can we move? Because 4 inches is really slow. Health of 5, 4 inches movement. Our scenario is going to be rescuing just 2 things. Then we have to roll for our location. So we roll a d6 for this is the black die, and the white die will be on for the bolded is in black, and then the white will be these bottom ones. You know what I'm talking about. All right, so we get a 1/6, and we're in the city, and we are in a tavern this time. Let's see. If your collection is short on terrain, don't let that stop you. We're gonna rescue 2 people from a tavern. You'll need to place your terrain elements on the board. Okay, so I have to rescue 2 commoners. I guess we found one of those like Willow-style balconied bars somewhere out in the wilderness, right? Maybe Barker is stuffing a bunch of fruit in his brassiere trying to hide out from Lug. Question becomes, so what do we got here? City, your terrain should contain at least 5 buildings with 1 large one in the center. So, all right, so the tavern, I guess the tavern is where we start. Include extra cover in the form of carts, wagons, shop stalls, low walls, etc. If it makes sense for the layout, include at least 1 building room or portcullis with a locked door or a gate. I think what we'll probably do is just make it a little village with a tavern in the center and then buildings surrounding it, and we have to get to the tavern, grab 2 people, and get out. But it's all going to kind of depend as well on the opposition. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's find out what the darkness is. With a 3, it's dusk. We are at partial light for the entire time. Oh, let's see. Rounds 1 and 2 are full light. So we have 2 rounds of light. And then everything gets very dark. And we are going to... That might actually help us out a little bit. Let's find out what our Tier 2 opposition is going to be. It could be something like a Minotaur, a couple of orcs, a couple of wolves. How do I know it's going to be more wolves? It could be cultists. It could be a dire wolf with an evil adventurer and more wolves. Oh, so we have two chances for more wolves. Could be Baba Yaga's curse. Maybe we're going into a cursed village. That could be fun. Marshland marauders, lizard folk, and then watery grave, elemental, and deep dwellers. So that is our D6 chart. Fighting Tier 2. We're leveling up. And we get a 3, Nature's Wrath. Of course, we're going to have 2 dire wolves, an evil adventurer, and 2 regular wolves. So that means I got to do a full-blown character sheet, and then wolves and wolves, and I guess, I don't know, maybe this evil adventurer mage is like a dark druid that came in with his wolf companions. But I'm actually going to re-roll that because we've already seen the wolves. We know what they do. They move really fast. They get a +1 on their charge. Let's skip the wolves for once, okay? With a 2, we get chaos followers, a minor devil, and 6 beast folk. Now I'm going to reduce that to 4 beast folk. The chaos follower, let's take a look at him, and I'll use the same kind of creature foe sheet. So let's take a look at what these abilities are going to be. What do we got? Chaos Follower. That starts with a C. Well, yeah, we'll do it in the order that's presented. So we got a Tier 2, base 7, strength of 8. So when he attacks us, we're going to make a dex check, and we got to get an 8 or better. 15 health. So he's pretty boss. He's wearing light armor. He's a fighter shooter. He's got a medium bow. So we're going to have to worry about that. Charge move is D6 plus extra. Charge move is D6 plus 1 inch. Interesting. 12-inch range. Okay. And then he's going to have some beast folk with him. Did I read that right? Yeah, and a minor devil. So the beast folk each have 10 health. Oh boy, this is going to be tough. Yeah, we're gonna have a couple of beasts. Maybe we should just do 2 of those. What it says 6. Maybe we do 3, because that way we got 5 guys against our 3. And of course, the Beast Folk and the Chaos Cultist, the Chaos Follower, and the Minor Devil. Look at that, Tier 3. Oh, man. That ain't good. It's 15 health, 2 claw attacks for +2 damage. Infernal armor, infernal resistance, armor -1 damage. Yeah, so that's a lot. Remember, the wolves only had 5 health. Now we're going up against a total of 30 plus another. Well, wait a minute. No, it's 30 for the devil and the chaos cultist, and then another 10 for every single one of those beast folk. This is not going to be easy. But if it was easy, we wouldn't be heroes, would we? The last thing we have to do is, so I'll put this down. We're in a village. It's dusk. We're fighting the Unholy Alliance, And the last thing I'm going to roll is for, I do want to see about ramping up the danger. I'm going to roll for weird events. And with a 31, we get Sightless Curse. The sightless ones are displeased. Choose a random player character. They must make an 8-up con check or be stricken blind. Bane on all checks until they are dealt an even initiative chit, at which point their blindness fades. So that means that we're starting out with a curse. The Chaos Follower has performed some kind of a spell to protect them. And a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's who it affects. All right, so Gimpy is going to start out blind, and I'm going to put this down right here. Blind until he gets an even. And now here's where things get a little interesting. He is, I should say blind. He makes an 8+ con check. Oh, maybe we could just do that right now. Let's see if this actually applies. Now, Gimpy, of course, has a con of +1. So we're rolling, looking for an 8 or better. We get a 10, so he is able to shake off the effects of that curse. And we don't have to remember anything, which is nice, because we're not good at remembering things. That's why we write... that's why we write things down. Did I just throw away my... No. Did I just throw away my notes? There they are. Okay. So I will put this right here to remind me for next time. And I will go fish out the necessary terrain and figures from my collection. I will photocopy this page. That's the character sheets. Here's my faux sheet. So this time I need all 3. Bing, bing, bing. 1 for the Chaos Follower, 1 for the Minor Devil, and 1 for each of the Beastmen. I tell you what. Let's do this. Let's do this. It says here you're going to fight 6 Beast Folk. No, I'm not. I'm going to fight D6. I'm going to fight 4. Oh, there you go. That's what I thought I was going to do. So that means Unholy Alliance is 4 Beast Folk. Ooh, I'll have to think about that. I think we're going to use Rat People. I don't have a whole lot of the classic, Ram style, horny and oh no, well maybe I do have a couple of Minotaurs. They're kind of beastly, and I have a couple of Owl Bears that would, they stand upright like people. So maybe we'll do just kind of a random collection of that kind of thing for the Beast Folk. That could be fun. Be a little different anyway. We're ready to go. I'm going to grab my miniatures, set up my character sheets, set up my terrain, and we'll see you in a week for the 3rd fight in our campaign of 2D Delves from 4Color Studios. Get your copy at 4-colors, where is it? 4-colorstudios.com. And the nice spiral bound is great because it lays flat, but I think he's doing proofs for, by the time this goes live, you may even be able to get the hardbound, nice, schwanky hardback version of these rules. And, of course, you can get the PDF at your various fine PDF merchants. Till next time, I'm praying for you.